Hello, sports fans. With another week in the books and another to prepare for, Thrive Fantasy Sports is your go-to one-stop shop for all your sports betting needs. Up to $75,000 in prizes each and every week. When you use the promo code SPORTSCHOICE, they'll match your first instant deposit up to $50 with a minimum of $20 deposit for the first-time use of the app. What are you waiting for? Come prop up with us. Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen Hill for Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering the entire NFL Week 16 slate of games. Before I get right into that, I want to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now so you can get all the updates each and every time we have breakdown here at Sports Choice Plus. Without further ado, we're going to get right into the action. Looking at this matchup of dockets of games, I'm going to go through each and every game, give you my picks of who I have winning. And why, basically. Looking at the first game on the docket, you're looking at the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Saints. Both these teams lost games that they could have won last week. When you're looking at the Bears and the way that they played the Minnesota Vikings, close but didn't dominate the game, you saw that they ran the football extremely well against Minnesota. They took the ball out of Mitchell Trubisky's hands and put it on the ground, and they made sure they ran the football. The Bears did an excellent job of running the football and playing keep away, and it cost the Minnesota Vikings a win. When you're looking at, just for a second here, Cameron Jordan. Cameron Jordan, as a defender, one of the veteran leaders in the locker room of the Saints, he had an opportunity to help his team win the football game. He made a selfish choice. He got it in the heat of the moment, open hand slap one of the Chiefs offensive linemen, and you're looking just at how that could have cost his team a big victory that they needed to get back on track. When you're looking at Kansas City, the game was fairly close late in the football game. Do I believe Cameron Jordan could have affected one run play or possibly helped get a turnover or got a pass deflection that could have led to a fourth down? I do. I do think he's that talented of a player. And I think that if you're the New Orleans Saints right now, you have to ask yourselves, what are we not doing correctly? Drew Brees came back and was a little rusty, but I think they still, even late when Drew Brees started catching fire, had an opportunity to win that football game. That's very big for this team. And I think that moving forward, they're going to win this game against the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to get back on track this week. I know they had 2 games where they lost back-to-back to the Eagles and to the Chiefs, but I think their losing efforts are over at this point. They're going to bounce back and get this victory. Looking at the next game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Detroit Lions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to be very careful because they're starting to not start the game fast. They're not starting the game on the same page, and it's starting to show because they're giving up gigantic leads to teams, and they're having to play hero ball to catch up. Yes, you have top-tier wide receivers in AB and Godwin and Mike Evans and so forth. Yes, you have Gronk. Yes, you have all these different players. You got Shady McCoy in the backfield. You got just from the standpoint of all these different guys, you still have to mesh well. Even with Leonard Fournette back there, you have to make sure all these guys are meshing well and playing, and everybody has to get their touches. No matter if it's a running back, no matter if it's wide receivers, everybody has to get included in the game plan, it seems like, for this team to feel special. So I'm picking Tampa to win this football game. I think they'll get their act together this week. Not saying that they're going to show up in the first quarter, but they'll get their act together and start to show up in the second quarter and make the game interesting, but ultimately win. Looking at the next game, San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be interesting because a lot of times these in-division games, specifically NFC West, these guys know each other pretty well. They play fast, they play hard, they play physical, and sometimes the best team with the most talent does not win these games. So looking at the Cardinals, they proved me wrong because I thought the Eagles were going to be flying a little bit higher, and I thought they were going to upset the Cardinals last week. So Kyler Murray and company heard me loud and clear. DeAndre Hopkins heard me loud and clear, and they went off this week. And I think that they played a pretty good game against the Eagles, and that's to be commended because they won games. They need to continuously win out football games so they can improve their chance on making the playoffs late in the football year. So I'm picking Arizona to win that game. It's going to be interesting. Kyle Shanahan's going to have a hell of a team next year when everybody's healthy. And I think that him playing a lot of these young guys when they weren't starters really and coming in a backup role is going to help them tremendously for their depth next year. So next game on the docket, and again, I'm picking the Cardinals to win that game. Next game on the docket, you got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. You're looking at this game right now, and you're seeing how Vegas was basically upstaged late in the football game against Justin Herbert. Kid has a phenomenal arm. Seeing how he's a rookie, he was able to make some big throws, be poised in the pocket, and not run away from the blitz. He was hitting guys left and right on the hands in the breadbasket, making sure they got what they needed. That's the kind of adversity you want to see somebody bounce back from. But for the Raiders, it's going to be a big-time game because their playoff chances are down to 5%. They need to beat the Miami Dolphins to gain some ground to try to help their own playoff push. We saw the Dolphins not look sexy, but they got rid of the Patriots. They eliminated them from the playoffs for the first time in almost a decade. So these guys are really, really, really playing well. Coach Brian Flores is not forcing things. He's telling Tua, hey, give what the defense is giving you and then live to fight another down. And I think that's very smart of him because you don't want to put too much pressure on your quarterback. In this game here, you're going to have two offenses that can go off, but I think Tua is going to be more in control. If they have Marcus Mariota, that's going to bode well for the defense of the Dolphins because you can throw interceptions against that Dolphins defense fairly quickly if you're not careful. I think Mariota can get yards on the ground, but facing a team like Miami so quickly after being on the bench for a couple of weeks could be a bad thing. And I think Miami's going to take full advantage of that. I have Miami winning this football game in a close shootout. So fins up, all you Miami Dolphins fans, fins up. You're going to be winning that game. I'm picking you. Next game on the docket, the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Atlanta Falcons put up about 27 points early in that football game against Tampa. They slowly let the lead slip away. It sucks. I can't describe it because the Atlanta Falcons are letting down almost every single game and giving up a lot of points and letting people beat them. And it's unfortunate, but probably a lot of these guys are going to lose their job because of it. You're looking at just how Atlanta gave that game away. They basically got cute on offense, and all of a sudden they wanted to just basically throw the ball every single play, it felt like. Not saying that's what it was, but it just felt like it. Kansas City, on the other hand, Kansas City took care of business, and they dominated when they needed to. They put their foot on the gas pedal when they needed to. When the Saints got close, they put their foot on the gas pedal and pushed it a little further, and you saw the direct reflection of what was going on with that team from that standpoint there. So I think Kansas City is going to be putting up points in this football game. I think Atlanta's going to do the same thing too. But I think that Kansas City is going to outlast the Atlanta Falcons. I think the defense for Kansas City is going to make a couple of plays and create that separation late in the football game. So Atlanta won't be able to hold on late in that football game. So I'm picking the Chiefs to win that game. Looking at Cleveland coming in against the New York Football Jets. The Jets had no business beating the Los Angeles Rams, but hey, they did. They did get that win, and they are no longer defeated, but they have one win on the season. They now have lost their grip on the number one overall seed of the NFL draft, so now the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes goes to possibly the Jaguars. You're looking at just what this team did well. They basically didn't make a lot of mistakes. They played pretty good football, and they beat the Rams. So that was kind of disappointing to see. The New York Jets in this game here, they're going to have to stop the run game. They're going to have to try to stop the Cleveland attack, and I think that Cleveland has a lot going on the offensive side of the ball. I think their linemen are better than anything the Jets have to put over on that defensive side of the ball. You're looking at Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You're looking at Jarvis Landry. You're looking at Hooper, I believe. It's so many different things that offensively this Browns team could roll out. And Stefanski, with his offensive play calling, he's shown he's flexible. He's shown that he can help out so much in the offense to kind of manipulate the defense, if you will, and to get them off their balance. And then he's going to, boom, hit them deep, boom, hit them with intermediate, boom, hit them with runs, and then just run them to death late in the fourth quarter. That's big because Cleveland needs to make the playoffs, and I want to see them make the playoffs, and the NFL's a better place when they make the playoffs. So I'm picking, let's just say Cleveland will win this game by about 25 points. I think that they can definitely pull it off. I don't see the Jets being that big of a problem. They've got their win, so they're not trying to fight as hard to no longer be the first defeated team since the Detroit Lions did it, I believe, a couple of years ago. So Next game on the docket, you have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. When I'm looking at this game here, I'm looking at ignore everything else that's happened throughout the season between both these teams. Mano y mano. The strength of the Steelers is passing the football. The strength of the Colts is getting after the passer. Something's going to have to change in this one because I believe that the young guns and the young pups for the Colts are going to be able to get after the Steelers quarterback Big Ben, and it's going to be time after time. It's going to be a chess match. It's going to be them just maneuvering guys left and right, and they're going to get the job done. The biggest thing in this one, you want to see from start to finish, Indianapolis control the ground game, running the football, because we know that the Steelers can pass the football, but they cannot run the football. We know that they've been bitten by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So that's changed their defense so much to the point where you've got one guy that's really making a lot of plays, and then depending on a lot of guys that are not normally starting. So I'm looking at the Colts in this one. I'm picking the Colts with the upset pick. All you Indianapolis Colts, I'm picking you to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Get in the comment section and tell me what you think of that. Carolina versus Washington. I think Washington was humbled this week. They were on a high after making a couple of big plays the last couple of weeks, and now they came down. Russell Wilson showed them that Russell magic, and he really got after them several times in the game. Yes, they made the game close, but I do not believe Carolina has the kind of weaponry that Washington is going to have to fear in this football game. Yes, they have a couple of talented running backs. Yes, they have pretty good wide receivers in Carolina that can make the yak, the catches, the catch, and then the yards after the reception. So it's so many different things that's going on in this football game, but I'm picking Washington because of that front four defensively. So next on the docket, you have the Chicago Bears taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a toss-up because both these teams right now, you can go either way. With the Baltimore Ravens putting a smackdown on Jacksonville as we saw this weekend, I don't expect much from them. From Chicago, I expect the world from you because you have to win every single game. Every single series should matter to you if you're the Chicago Bears. And you're looking at Mitchell Trubisky, how when they take the ball out of his hands and they make him a game manager and he can just make basic throws and lean on the run game, he's that much of a better quarterback. The Bears don't have the best offensive wide receivers as we've ever seen in the NFL, but they are pretty okay. But in this football game, I'm expecting them to run the football even more. I think taking the ball continuously out of Mitchell Trubisky's hands is a big thing, and I think that they're going to be able to wrap up big time and get another victory towards trying to make the playoffs. Looking at New York Giants taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I think that Baltimore sent a warning shot the last couple of weeks when they're beating teams. And you see how they were able to eke out a victory against the Browns the week before and how they were able to blow out Jacksonville last week. It's not going to be a thing that's pretty in this football game, but Lamar Jackson's going to get the job done some way, somehow. I cannot bet against him any further because I know that is the MVP guy that what we saw the last couple of weeks. When you see exactly how he's getting the first downs, it doesn't matter if he's throwing, it doesn't matter if he's passing, no matter if he's just, tossing you a 2-yard floater. He's going to get the job done and make sure that his team is being dragged to the finish line. The running backs have to step up if they're for Baltimore. I want to see them average at least 350 yards in rushing because they simply can. The offensive line, even though it's missing a couple pieces, can still block well. It can still defensively be pretty good with that football team. So I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens to win that game. I think they'll have a lot of firepower and they can get the job done. Coming up next on the docket, you got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Houston Texans. And you're seeing just how special Cincinnati is with Joe Burrow, but without him, they struggle a lot. Looking at Deshaun Watson, this should be his ability to win this football game and will his team to victory because you don't have a lot of all-star firepower on the other side of basically the field. When you're looking just at how this team can navigate through the remainder of the season, you want to win out as many games as possible. You're just looking at a lot of these pieces probably won't be here for Deshaun Watson next year. They're bound to make trades. They're bound to make drafts to upgrade and try to make people come, play for the team. It's going to be big for them. But I think winning this game against the Bengals is going to be huge. I think that they will win this game and they'll stop their losing streak, and Mr. Watson's frustrations will go down. Looking at this, you got the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. You're seeing how exactly the Chargers were able to get past the Raiders of Las Vegas in that game on Thursday night. That was a big, bold move by Anthony Lynn to do a lot of what he did, and it paid off. A lot of those things, when you're the toast of the town, you make these decisions, boom, you're good to go. A couple years later, you're out the door, and that's a big thing. But Anthony Lynn is really has his team playing. They're focused. Special teams is still an issue for them. But when you're looking at this team here in the Denver Broncos, they have a lot of firepower on offense. If Drew Lock can stop turning the ball over and pay attention to details on plays, he has a lot of guys that he leaves open throughout the game, and they miss opportunities because he just doesn't look up and toss the ball down the field. You're looking at how talented that defense is. If that defense gets Von Miller back and they're making a lot of plays, it's going to be a big difference in how they score the football. So I'm picking Denver to win that football game. I think that the Chargers, if you will, they have a lot of firepower, but they're not going to be able to get past Denver's defense on this day. I know that they eked past the Raiders, but if the Raiders had any part of the Denver Broncos defense, they would have slowed them down just a little bit. So I'm picking the Broncos to win that one against the Chargers. Looking at Philadelphia. Philadelphia takes on Dallas this week. NFC East is bad. It's just terrible. But the Dallas Cowboys are showing me that they can still move the football and put points up on the board. I'm picking Dallas to win this football game. I think that they're going to have more than enough talent to compete with Jalen Hurts and company, and I think they're going to put the pedal to the metal and go ahead and end this saga while they have the chance to put away the NFC East. And I do pick the Dallas Cowboys to win that one. It hurts my heart a little bit. Coming in, Los Angeles Rams taking on Seattle. Los Angeles Rams laid the egg on national television, and you're seeing how they lost to the Jets. That could hurt their psyche. If I am the coach of the Rams, Sean McVay, I'm doing everything I can to spin this into a positive to get the bad taste out of their mouth immediately and try to make sure that my team stays motivated and focused and believes in me as a head coach if I'm Sean McVay. Looking at just how, a simple chip shot field goal can make the difference between a win and a loss after you've played 60 minutes of football. It's kind of crazy to me, but in this game here, you're going to think it's going to be a lot of playmakers all over the field, from DK Metcalf to Lockett to Jalen Ramsey to, a little bit of everything. Aaron Donald and company, you got a lot going on. And when Russ gets going and, Jared Goff gets going, it can make for a lot of offense and a lot of highlights. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring affair. I don't think the Los Angeles Rams are going to slow this team down right now because Seattle is firing on all cylinders. I think that just an informative conversation can help. But when you're looking at Los Angeles, there's no reason for you to have lost to the Jets other than you just played bad football. That's going to be huge as well. But I am picking. I think the Seahawks can pull that off. I think I'm back and forth a little bit, but I'm thinking the Seahawks can pull this off. I think they're going to win another game, and Russ is going to run away from Aaron Donald yet again and still get loose. And my heart and head is going back and forth with the Rams and things like that, but I'm picking the Seahawks to win this game. I think that with all the chitter-chatter about how Washington was going to track them down and do all these things to them, and literally they couldn't do anything, this was confirmation. So the Seahawks, they're just a better built team. They're punching their ticket to the playoffs and everything. So I think that they're going to continue that moving forward. Coming down to the Tennessee Titans taking on the Green Bay Packers. I think this is going to be an interesting game because it's going to be styles makes fights. When you're looking at Tennessee, they have the ability to throw the ball down the field, but they want to run the football with King Derrick Henry. And you're looking at Green Bay. They have so many different things with Aaron Jones they can do because he is a scat back and not really a big back. So I'm looking at this game. It's going to come down to who can run the football better. I think Derrick Henry and company is going to come down with it. And I think they're going to run the ball and force Aaron Rodgers to make plays down the field. I think as he's forcing plays down the field, something may happen as far as, inaccuracy. They may get behind quick and have to abandon the run altogether, if you will. So I'm picking literally the Tennessee Titans to pull off an upset against Green Bay. I think they have all the pieces it takes to do that. And I think that it's going to be a huge game come this weekend. And I'm picking Tennessee to run all over Green Bay. I think it's going to be a blowout. due to the nature of, where everything is right now as far as going back and forth, though. For all intents and purposes, tighten up everybody in the comment section. Green Bay, tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section as well. Last but not least, the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. When you're looking at Buffalo and seeing exactly how this team has been navigating throughout the season, they're not playing down to their opponent. They are playing very much up so to them, and they're making sure that you understand we're going to beat you to the punch. We're going to do everything we need to make sure we're excluding your best wide receiver on this play and just showing them, hey, you could be open. No, you're not. And it's just one of those things, smoke and mirrors. And they're starting to play with a swagger. They're starting to play with a confidence on both sides of the ball, whether it be Diggs and Allen and stuff like that. They're starting to expand more and to grow as a team and grow as a family. New England's in trouble because I think that this is going to be payback for all those years, essentially that, the Buffalo's had to suffer. They're going to try to stick it to the Patriots anytime that they can. And I think it's going to be a big game. I'm picking Buffalo to win this football game here. All you Bills Mafia, get up. Let me see you in the comment section. And as always, and I want to thank you so very much for definitely checking us out each and every week. And tell me what you think about the new videos. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you like the format? Or you want me to go back to the individual videos? Leave all that comments in the comment section below. Definitely check us out each and every week. And we thank you for tuning in.